Good morning, Miss Bird. How you doing, Terry?
Ryan, how are you?
Good morning.
Doing
Happy Friday.
good. Good.
Are you in a closet?
No, I don't know why it's so dark. It's cloudy here. How do I change that?
Um, I don't know where you are.
You
I'm
just
sitting at
probably
the
need a,
dining room. I'm sitting at the dining room table.
It's probably
think you
because
ju-
the door is to your back.
there you are.
Okay.
She's glowing like me.
I can change that.
No, I'm at a Starbucks. I can't. I'm glowing.
I love Starbucks just to go in a coffee shop, drink coffee and
Yeah.
work, think, get away from everyone.
Yeah.
Relaxing
That's
environment.
nice.
That would be good, except for I have a 4-year-old, and I doubt if he'd do Starbucks for an hour.
No.
Yeah.
Jenna, it looks like you're sitting in a sunbeam.
I know, I really am. There's windows on both sides, so I
It
can't
looks
find
great.
a background.
You're
Yeah.
actually glowing.
Yep.
How's everybody this morning?
Good.
Great. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was good. It was calm and quiet and good. How was your weekend, Miss Mariposa? The hair is all curly. I have to notice that first.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm freeing myself, being my
All
more
right.
feminine side.
It looks nice. It looks nice.
Thank you. So yeah, I did some paintings this weekend. I haven't painted in a long time. So it was felt really good.
I haven't I cut all mine off, so I don't have to worry about it.
Sometimes I feel like doing that too. I've had a bob too, like short bob.
Okay.
But
I don't know what I would do with that much hair. But it was a good weekend. I do have some good news to share. I can't remember if I had mentioned that while I was on vacation in Virginia that I had lost my driver's license.
Yeah, you did.
And everybody was all panicking and freaking about it. My husband kept saying, you need to go get a renewal. Well, it came in the mail on Friday. American Airlines found it on their plane when it went in for a deep clean. And it was right there where I lost it, beside the seat, between the seat and the window, where I lost it. So
Well, there you go.
I was able to tell the majority of my family, oh, ye of little faith, because I really wasn't worried about it. I got to slam some stuff in their faces.
That's awesome.
So
It's gonna keep happening, right?
yeah, it is. It is. The publisher that I called, they did not return my call. So I will do some more research and get another one and go from there. So I'm not discouraged about that. We'll just keep going.
That's right. They weren't aligned. That's okay, because that's not your publisher.
Yeah.
They're not my one. They're not the one. So we will go on, and the next one will be waiting. You know, first and second weren't it. Third might be it. Fifth might be it. But there is a it. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like you got to take action, which you are, when you're aligned, and when things don't work out the way you expect or want them, then it's just feedback. It's feedback to tell you to keep going, to keep looking.
Right.
Look for the feedback. What can you learn from that? And then just take the good and continue. So that's great that you are.
Exactly.
I love that you did get your wallet back though. Good one. That's pretty practical and good, but it's
actually, it wasn't just the wallet. It was just the driver's license.
Oh.
Because you know how you take it out to go through TSA?
Right.
And I just stuck it in that pocket on my leggings, but my phone was there also. So when I pulled my phone out on the plane, once I got settled for takeoff and everything, it just came out and went beside the seat, and it just kind of rode around the country for a little bit, came back for a deep clean, and they found it.
Well, I was just gonna say it's proof that expectations precede miracles.
Yeah.
So it's like you put your expectations in the right place, and then that's what showed up.
Yeah.
But the key was that she wasn't worried about it. She wasn't stressing. And it
not from the moment that I realized it when I got to my sister's house. When we got to the gym that first day and I needed it to sign in, I go, I don't have my drive. Okay, well, I must have dropped it on the plane. Here's a copy of my old one. So we went from there. I did what I was supposed to do. I logged it into American Airlines and they were looking for it. And, they found it in the fullness of his time. So,
yeah, that's
beautiful. And I got it back. So that was good.
You attracted it back to you by taking the right action and having the faith that everything's gonna be okay. And it's gonna
It
come.
is.
It's gonna come whenever it comes.
Mm-hmm.
If it's meant to happen, it'll happen at that time.
Right.
Yeah,
And it
it's our
did.
belief. It's really our belief. It's about the belief and the feelings that we have is the magnet that attracts to us all the things that we
Right.
want, we desire. We just got to stay in that vibration, that frequency, and just hang in there, hang out there, relax,
Yep.
chill.
It's been good. It's been really good. Combing. I was able to get to the gym this weekend, and I actually got a phone call from Milan, so I couldn't answer him. But I got my water mermaid on, and you know, extended my exercise time in the water from a half hour to 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. And the knees feel really good this weekend. So I have to
Great.
remember to do part of what I did the last time, which I did water squats, and I'd never done that before. And the knees are thanking me for it. So
That's amazing.
life is
Water
good. Life is
squats.
good. So
I have done no squatting at all. I need to do some squats.
that's why I'm doing it in the water. That way gravity is not technically in charge, and I can get
Yeah.
all of this. I can get all this back up.
I love it.
Without the
That's
live
awesome.
card going, do I need to jump in? Is she coming back up? I was able to come back up. So
That's really
Oh
smart.
my God, I love swimming,
That's awesome.
being in the water. I've
Yeah.
been
I love the water.
I've been connecting to my inner child. So I've been taking care of my inner child, and I haven't been working out. That's okay. I'm not judging myself.
Okay. No, you're not, because your inner child needs to be taken care of too. You know, and
Mhm.
if you're bouncing a ball or running in circles or jumping up and down because you're watching Simon Says on YouTube, then hey, you're moving, and your inner child is getting that enjoyment and that peace and that stretching.
Yeah, I feel like I am working out. It's just not in the ways that I've been used to, like being in the gym or doing a workout, like a full routine at home. It's like I'm just having fun. So,
That's
which
good.
is, yeah, it's super important to do the things that we love, the things that bring us joy, the things that bring us peace, and saying yes, like allowing yourself to do these things. You
Right.
become a vessel to receive all the things that you desire. And that's why it's important to have the clear goals. So if we don't have a goal, we're not aiming for anything. We're just floating
We're just
around.
existing. Yeah.
Mhm.
We're just existing. But life is, like I said, life has been good. Michael and I are planning some things for next year, and finances are doing well. I got my renewal for my daycare license, so all that went well. I'm not a paperwork person. I do not like paperwork, and there's a lot of paperwork in this business. But I got the web addresses and stuff from my consultant when she came, so all the paperwork and stuff is lined up and ready to go and easier, and a website that I'd not been able to get into for a while because I could not remember that password. It showed up on another piece of paper, and I'm in it, and I'm getting it done, and life is good. My
Being
kids
in
are all
ease.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Looks like you're in ease and flow, which is so good. So good.
And I think keeping my peace about it helped a whole lot.
Absolutely.
Because I said,
Absolutely.
well, hey, if I lose my license, I lose my license. That means I get to retire early and do different stuff. But, the universe said, no, we still have parents that want you to work. So I'm still working. So it would have been a win-win for me either way. So the parents ruled out, and I'm still working, but life is good. My little one is having his tablet time right now. So he's like, are you going to talk to those people today? I go, yeah. He goes, can I play on my tablet? I go, yes, you can. I'll do my meeting. You do yours.
No. Yeah. And it is about just enjoying life, living life, and not stressing. Like so many people, like I stressed my whole life, like literally over nothing. Most of the stuff I stressed about wasn't even necessary for me to stress. But yet I stressed and I stressed. And it's like, that's just no way to live. It's no
No,
way to live. It really
That would have
kills.
drove me crazy. I've never really been a stressful person. I mean, I've had stuff to get to me. That's just human nature, but I've not allowed, even before now, I've not allowed it to stay. You
That's
know,
awesome.
I always saw that silver lining, you
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
and that has paid off. It continues to pay off. I got word again from my sister that she didn't go last week because she had a cold and she didn't want to get the other seniors sick. So she said she was looking forward to Monday or Tuesday and getting back to class and getting back to the water. So that's good. I'm proud of her.
I
So that
love
ripple
that.
continues.
Yes, you continue to impact the world,
Yep.
the people around you.
And I have a new great niece. My niece's son, his fiance had a daughter
No,
last week.
Aw.
So the family continues, and Miss Ayana is here. So
love that.
it's
Oh,
Duran's daughter, in case you didn't get to see it, Milan.
No, I did. I saw the picture.
Anoya?
Hey, well,
How do you say
well,
Anaya? Anaya.
Ayana.
Naya.
Ayana,
Ayana.
that's a
Okay.
beautiful
Ayana.
I have
name.
a good friend here,
Really,
Ayana.
Ayana.
Yeah, we're expecting a little one here too. Not me, I'm
You
not
are?
pregnant. No.
Oh, I was like, you
Whoa.
She just meant in
I
her
was like, well,
world, in her world.
slide that right
Yeah.
on
You
in.
never know. I could be having one soon. I don't know. No. My
That
Jeremy.
girl's got
That
the
I know.
hair all curly and everything. So God knows what to do with these streets.
We knew something was different with you.
Yeah. Oh
We're
my
gonna make
God.
her stand up in a minute and say, okay.
Yeah, no kidding.
My boyfriend's sister is having a baby like next month and went to visit her yesterday. So it was nice.
That's
But yeah,
always good.
we'll have a little one around. I'm like, I want to babysit, but I don't know. It'll have to be
That's
on
nice
the
thing about
weekends.
Take it slow.
babysitting. You can send them home, but no, the only babies I'll have is grandkids. That I can guarantee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's the best feeling. I'm
Jenna's
sure.
waiting for the grandkids.
Yeah, no,
Mm.
someday. But
Yeah.
my body's done having babies.
Trust. It would actually be an act of God right now.
Right. Same. Yeah. It would be an act of God.
I don't make a joke about that because I know the story of Sarah, Abraham, and Isaac. So I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
I believe in that. I
All right.
believe in that.
I'll keep my mouth shut too then,
I'm
because I
just
do
gonna
not.
keep my mouth shut and let that blessing
Just
pass
pass it on to
someone
me.
else.
Pass it on to me. I'm open to
Okay.
having. All right, but Ryan's
All right.
Ryan's gonna
Well,
teach
happy
today.
Monday, everyone. Yeah, so today we're going to be going over the 5 great principles of life and how they can lead to basically a realization of your inner ability. So first word we're going to start with is focus. We've talked about it a lot, focus, like coming from the end and being able to focus on the end goal so you can create the steps to getting to reaching wherever you want to go. Which that the candle method that majority of you know about, which is where you basically shut out everything else by focusing on a candle or on the flame itself and being able to control that focus, which I tried a couple times now. I've actually enjoyed it. But I think focus is very important because without focus, without coming from the end and being able to focus on a goal, you're kind of just wandering through life, like majority of people, we would say. Got a little stump there.
It's me because I'm making jokes like I'm not focusing, but I was trying to light the candle for you just to use it as, you know how I do it.
Didn't get it.
No, it's true. Bob says that, focus on it until you become one with the candlelight, the flame. Like you might say, well, what does that mean? How does that even? But it's really when you focus all your energy on that candle, you become the flame. Like it's really, I don't know if you've ever done that. Any of you have ever tried it? But you can also, Bob's also said to put a dot on the wall and stare at the dot. It's really just bringing in your focus so that we train our mind to only focus on the one thought, the one thing that you really want. Because a lot of time, all the distractions, right, all the noise around us doesn't let us focus. Like it could be like the phone that just went off, right? It could be like I go to post online and I want to, like, I have a mindset of a goal. I'm going to do this. And then all the distractions, right? I see a post. I'm like, oh, you know, she's having a baby, or, oh, you know, then I get distracted. And 20 minutes later, I'm like, what am I here to do? Like, I have to go back to what I was there for, right? And not get distracted. Same thing. We usually chase energy, right? We wake up and we have this thing we want to do. And then everybody starts coming at us with things and just distractions, right? But when we focus and concentrate, and this is where we kind of have to make some space for ourselves and just to focus, or I'm not going to do anything until I get this done, until I'm done with this thing, and not let our energy be hijacked by others' thoughts and feelings and emotions. This is really important. A lot of times we get wrapped up in other people's energies, and we, like, for me, I'm a problem solver for other people. I used to be. I'm recovering from that too. Like, I want to go solve people's problems. Like, let me just go over here and like tell you what to do, figure things out for you. It's like, no, that's not helping them grow. Like, you'll figure it out. So I'm learning to just stay on my side of the road and do what I'm here to do and stay focused on that and not get lost. A lot of times people say, well, come join us and do this, and come join this group and come do this and that. And I'm like, no, it's not aligned with me. I have enough things to think and worry about than to go involve myself in somebody else's things, right? Whether that's emotional problems, family problems, friend issues, whatever it may be, right? It was just an example, Monty. Yes, your phone call's unavoidable. So, but that's what I'm saying, right? It's just staying one track mind until the goal is done. So having a list.
It's actually one of the principles too of like meditation is that if you have a mantra or if you have a focus, it focuses and pinpoints your attention, but it also expands awareness. So it's a really interesting thing, because if you're staring at one thing, one flame, one point, you know, on the wall, whatever it is, and you're able to focus and concentrate on that, what you do is you empty your mind of everything else, but then you open it to everything. And so it's like it expands awareness. And it's really, really interesting if you practice it, because if you're focusing like on one thing, all of a sudden your peripheral and like your, you know, your mind opens and lets things in that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, because you were moving your head around, seeing everything. When you're focused, it all opens. So it's pretty,
kind of like
it's a pretty
riding
cool
on a train through a tunnel. You have that darkness, and that darkness allows you to focus on that one speck of light that eventually comes into being, and then you can see it, and then you're more aware of everything else that is around you. But that time span of that focus helps to bring it in. I had not heard of the candle, but a lot of times I'll do it with one particular thing outside of my window, you know, and then it gets to a point where I don't even notice if traffic goes by. It doesn't interrupt that focus on that one thing. And fall's a good time of year to do that, because I have a tree in the distance that turns, and I can just look at that tree and basically be in it and enjoying it. And then that allows me to put my focus on the task at hand, or what I need to do, or what I need to accomplish, you know, and then I'll allow myself to come back out of that tree. But yeah, it works really good, but I'll have to try the candle.
I love the tunnel idea too, because it's like you're focused, and then when you come out, everything is open and wide. You know, you come into the light. That's cool, metaphorically.
The other thing that it does when you focus on one thing at a time is that it's like a magnifier. It's like a magnifying effect. So think of it this way, and Bob explains it like this, Bob Proctor's. You put magnifying glass on a piece of paper and you put it out in the sun. Like, the sun is not going to catch it on fire, but the magnifier, or that glass, you know, expands the light it comes through. and it just makes it that much more potent and that's much stronger. And that's the same effect when we focus. We're sending all our energy and all of our capacity to that one thing. And then, yes, like Jenna said, all of a sudden you get expansion. You get all these ideas and all these ways to do the thing that you want to do, right? You want to accomplish that goal you want to accomplish. You just open, you connect to infinite source, because that's within us, right? God and all the infinite knowledge that ever was and ever is within us. Like we have access to that. We could tap into, we can connect, but we don't always connect, and we don't listen because we're too busy. We're too busy running around, too busy thinking things. Even if we're just not doing anything physically in our head, our mind is going all kind of different ways. And there's just no room to hear, no channel to like listen, right? And so when we focus, we shut everything down, we're meditating, we're in this meditative state where we're just connecting. And then you get a download of information of how and what and who to do, how to do things. Go ahead, Mila.
Yeah, you definitely do. I was gonna just piggyback off that last point that you said, that with my clients and with myself too, we all have these specific goals, and sometimes you're trying to get them, but it seems like you're just hitting a roadblock. And for me, just having that candle, and I don't even take the time to light the candle. I just go to YouTube and type candle, and then just like I'll see a candle floating.
Probably better for your eyes.
Right, it's probably better for my eyes. But I can see
There's
on
no
the
thing like the actual candle, a light.
there isn't, but you make do. But
do what works for you.
what it helps for me with my goals is, I have a specific goal in mind. Maybe it's opulence, or it's health, or specific health goal, or a specific money goal, something like that. And I staring at the light allows me to let go of me forcing it, and just like I'm just there to experience it. And I found that in my clients too, that the ideas for those things would just come in those moments. If like, oh, I have this goal to, lose 50 pounds, but I don't know about this and that and what good recipes, and then just have that be your goal. And then you're looking at that light, and the ideas will come, recipes will come to you, knowledge will just start to come, because you're purposely choosing to focus and purposely choosing at the same time to block out anything else. Sometimes it feels, your mind is going to drift, but just being able to have one thing to look at for just a couple of minutes will just open up, like they said, your mind's open up, and just start, the solutions will just start showing up, which is it's cool and it's fun. And I had my client on Friday just start like giggling for like 2 minutes and having visions of little kids running up to him and all types of stuff. So and I think too, it's a lot of people, and us included, it was like, oh, well, you're a pyro because you like fire. But I don't think you necessarily have to be a pyromaniac to like fire. I think fire is its own entity, and it draws everybody in, and it's really effective to do it that way.
It's one of the 4, if you look at it, there's the elements of life, right? There's wind, fire, earth, and air, right? So fire is rapid transformation. So connecting to, and if you think about it, that burning desire, that burning passion, right? When you have something that it's going to motivate you to do the things that are uncomfortable, to get out of your head, right? And just to do. And and a lot of times too, when you think of a paradigm or a belief that you want to let go, Bob and even a lot of people recommend to take that piece of paper, burn it. It's a rapid transformation. So you let it go. You said the intent of I'm releasing it, and I'm now accepting my new truth when there's a roadblock, right? And you write out the new, you write out the good. And that's lesson 2 of the Thinking into Results program, well, I, went through it, and I've took many clients through it as well. Then we're going through it too as a team. But the thing is that you burn it, it's a rapid transformation, right? You're just letting it go, and you're stepping into your power So I encourage you, Terry, to think about your goal and to come and to go to the end, right? To it's done, it's published. You're in the bookstores, you're at Barnes and Nobles, right? And you're doing book signings with little kids, and the little kids, right, are coming up to you. Like, create a scene like that and really connect to the spirit of that, and just focus on that and give that your energy for even if 5 minutes a day. That's all you need, or even less. And if you don't have a lot of time, 30 seconds is really what is said to really impact that and transfer that thought and that emotion, that fantasy down to your subconscious mind, which is what controls your body, right? And it's just one example of one of the goals that you could connect to, but there could be anything really. It's whatever you want and you desire.
Yeah, I mean, back to the flame. I like the meaning behind it, where you could transfer it to like the flame being a task or a goal. Like for example, for you, Terry, finding a publisher. You know, if finding a publisher is the flame, and you're just purely focused on it, it's just like things will come exponentially faster, being able to have that focus. But I think with also that, the opposite is almost more important, and being able to fight out the distractions, really. I mean, because, you know, even like Mariposa said, you know, you get on social media to do something, and then you get distracted and carried away, like in the cartoons where someone's baking a pie and you're just like floating with them.
Following the
But
sense.
so being able to fight the distractions, really, I mean, I think, you know, that's something I try to overcome every day, and it's a big part of focus as well, the opposite. So I guess let's go for the second word, which is strength, which the way I see it is kind of like willpower. Being able to realize that if your willpower is strong enough, and being able to trust your instinct and trust yourself, to be able to take those leaps of faith and steps that may make you uncomfortable. Like for you, let's say calling a publisher. You know, for me, you know, calling a lot of people and stuff like that could be nerve-wracking for some people, and being able to overcome and really believe in yourself. I think willpower is something that's very strong and can take you very far.
Yeah, I
Well,
think too, something that's a show of strength, especially for women, I think, is the ability to say no. And remember that no is a complete sentence. It's a complete sentence. You know,
Period.
you don't have to give
I
people
like
an
that.
explanation about it. And far too often we guilt women into having to have an explanation for why you don't want to do something, or why you're not going to do something, or why you're not going to agree or go along with this or that. But no is a complete sentence. And I think just being able to say no, and from people that I've come across over the last few years, especially people that are playing for, you know, really big goals, you know, no is something they had to learn, because you can't say yes to everybody and everything, you know.
Right.
And that goes back to the focus. You know, having that goal, having that focus will allow you to be stronger, and to say no when it's right, and say yes when it's right.
That's good. I like that.
yeah, will is one of our higher faculties. It's one of the principal, another. So we all have these 5 faculties, right? And they're more of spiritual faculties, or physical skills and strengths, not physical, but spiritual, that we very, very seldom execute on, because we've been taught to live from without, to live in the mechanical, to live in the to-dos, do, instead of going within, right? And when you go within, you're looking to see, what do you want? What would make you happy? What's going to bring you joy and peace and all the things? The prosperity will come by doing the things that you love. It doesn't
Right.
have to come from doing things you don't love. And that's what we've been trained to do. You got to grind it. You got to do this. You got to do that. Even though you don't like it, like you think that's the only way. But when you have a will, when you step into your own truth and in your own strength, right? What do I love? You give that. That's your will. That's what you want to do, right? So it's very important to stay connected to your will, and to say no, like Milan said, to say no to things that aren't going to help you on your path to getting to where you want to get to. right? And sometimes we feel guilty, like, oh, they're asking me to give them some of my time, and I wanted to finish my book, but I'm gonna go spend time with them today, and you say no to yourself, right? It's an example, but to really use your willpower to stay the course, to stay focused on what you want, to continue to dream, not let the dream die, not like you said, that's why we set deadlines too, right? And even if you don't make that deadline, that's okay. But at least you have a deadline. There's some urgency behind it, because if you just leave it, oh, one day I'll, like I spent most of my life saying, one day I'll write my book. One day, someday. But no, I had to say, I want to do this now. And I did it now. Like I did it really fast, right? Like I said last week. So that's really important to not get distracted and to use your will. Because you can have, will is one of those super strengths. It's like a superpower that no matter what, it's going to come to fruition. No matter what happens, no matter what shows up, no matter what people think, like it doesn't matter. What matters is what you want, what you desire, what you're dreaming about. That's all that matters at the end of the
Well,
day.
and I think
And that's where my determination and our desires take us. If we stay focused on those, that determination, that desire to do, to reach that goal, be it a far goal or a close goal, but even little goals, they make a big difference. Like my distraction on Saturday, I was going to take the grands, and then one didn't want to go and the other one said they'd go. Then I get a text that, neither one of them wanted to go, that they were going to do this or do that. And I was already up, dressed and ready and in my swimsuit. And I was like, well, I don't even have to go today. I can go do this. And then it's like this little inner self said, but you weren't going for them. You were going for yourself. It was a bonus for them to be able to go and play in the kiddie area while in the water, while you did what you were going to do. So I had to give myself that little kick, and put the blinders on. It wasn't just for them, it was just for me. And I was able to get up and go. And I stayed longer, and I had not necessarily had a better time, but I had a better workout experience, because
I love
I
that.
got past those distractions of, well, you can just go to the store and, do your shopping now and da 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 da. And then, before, like you said, before you know it, time has passed and a half hour had gone by. And I'm like, no. So we just jumped up, grabbed our bag, and got in the car. And, the energy and the flow and the determination gathered, the closer and closer I got. And then I went in, and, the girl at the desk was like, you're by yourself today. And I'm like, yeah, they slept in. And, I went on in and I did what I needed to do. It wasn't crowded. I had, the area to myself, and it just worked out really good. But had I caught that slump or kept that distraction of, well, now I don't have to go, but my determination and my will and my strength reminded me that I wasn't going just for them. I was going for myself first.
I love
And it felt
that.
better.
Yeah. Everything
Yeah.
turned around as soon as you turned it back to you.
Right.
As soon as you turned it back to you, it seemed so doable.
Yeah, and it was easy. And I kind of giggled when I got there and got in the water, because it's warm water, and you could just sit back and float. But then all these ideas of, let's try this or let's try that, kept coming to me, and I did some different things. And like I said, physically, I feel better for it. Mentally, I feel rewarded for it, because I said no. I put my tunnel vision on, and like you said, Milan, I brought it back to me, and it was a better day for it.
I mean, that's a
Actually, a better
perfect
weekend
example.
for it. What'd you say, Ryan?
I was just saying that's a perfect example of, I mean, showing yourself your inner ability with your strength and willpower, because even greater than the fact that you went and enjoyed that and exercise like that, it's really overcoming that mental barrier and telling yourself no to
Right.
the distractions and yes to the goals that you do want. So
Well, it's also stepping up. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
you're good. That was it.
Yeah, it's like stepping out of your comfort zone, right? Out of the way you've done life. It's like you got to go with someone. You got to take your kid, the family with you. Like it's almost like using them as the excuse to go and have fun. But it's like it's okay to go and have fun because you want to. Right?
Right.
It's okay to step out and do things on your own, like you did, getting on a plane to see your family by yourself. Like that was the first time you've ever done that. Like it's doing those things that you're sometimes have to do by yourself because nobody's willing to do it with you. And that's okay. Like that's where the inner strength comes in, and to change the programs and the paradigms of the family, right? Because there's a lot of programs and paradigms of the family that this is the way we do things and we don't really step out of this norm. But you're
Right.
like breaking norms left and right because you are following your own path, your own way of doing things. And I'm sure you've done it your whole life. And there's different levels of it. Maybe you're, who knows? But yeah, no, continue to do that. That's a beautiful example of just like questioning, like, am I really doing this for me or am I really doing it for someone else? And you can always come back to that and guide yourself from within. Have your internal compass coming from inside of you, directing you where you want to go. And that's a whole different way of thinking, because as women, we're taught to be and do for others and put ourselves last. And it's like, what do I want? It doesn't matter what I want as long as everyone's taken care of around me. And it's not true. It's the opposite.
Right.
You should put yourself first. That is your right. And then everyone else benefit from you living your full life and being happy and being excited and just sharing that joy and that energy with people empowers them to do what
It
they
did.
want.
It really did. That empowerment went on because when I was chatting with my niece online this weekend too, and she said she was doing something, and I said, I'm headed off to the gym, and she was bike riding or something, and I said, you've been an inspiration for me. And then she mentioned the other aunt, my sister, that is still doing things that she started doing, and it blows me away every time she talks about it, or what she's done in the class, or how she's learned, or she's doing this differently in the water, or she's adding more to it. And she says, eventually I will walk out into the middle of that pool without having to hold on to my rail. But her just overcoming those fears and saying yes to herself, it almost makes me want to do more. And it, like my grandmother used to say, you never know who's watching you. You never know whose life you're saving just by doing something, not necessarily just for yourself, but doing something goal oriented, in a positive way, because someone else might say, well, if she can, I can. So,
Exactly.
that's kind of been an insight for me, a little bit of extra wisdom as to keep doing what I'm doing, because
Absolutely.
you never know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you start
heard
to change.
a quote a while back by Dr. Miles Monroe, and he put it this way, that he's like, whoever's alive on earth when you're alive, they owe you. They owe you their greatness. Like you owe them your greatness. Like the books you're supposed to write, the inventions you're supposed to invent, the doors you're supposed to open, the people you're supposed to help, the kind words you're supposed to say. Like we all owe each other that, because we're all here together at this time. And you never know the small changes that you're going to make, the small decisions that you make, how much that's going to affect somebody else. Sometimes people might be one feeling so isolated, but that one smile, or holding the door open, or simply saying good morning and actually looking at them, acknowledging their presence, that might literally save somebody's life. And it's we've all benefited from so many other people saying yes to themselves. Like somebody invented the internet, it wasn't me. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It's so great. Somebody figured out Wi-Fi. Somebody figured out how to make super green so that I can stay healthier. Somebody created water bottles, and it just reminds me that we're all creators and we all have a responsibility to the greater good. We're all serving the greater good in that aspect, and reminds me of the one. We're all the one. And it's your body, it works great, but what's your body without your arms? Well, makes things a lot more tricky, and if you just start taking away pieces of the body, then it's like, well, eventually it becomes extremely difficult. So performing your functions to the fullest, and saying yes to yourself regularly, I think, yes, it impacts your life greatly, but it also impacts so many other people that you will probably never know.
Right.
Absolutely.
All right, so for now we have, of the 5 great principles of life, focus and strength. Um, Now, the third one is going to be success, which, in my words, I would say is basically, I mean, it's definitely individualized per person, but it's almost like you're in search of a purpose for yourself. So I think there's a lot of power in, having something to look forward to. And I mean, success is what everyone strives for, whether it be financially or abundance or, family or kids or um, an amazing friend group like we have here. Um, we are all successful, in our own ways. But I think being able to look forward and have a purpose and be working towards something is what keeps everybody alive, keeps the strength alive, your focus alive, and keeps you moving forward. So I think the coming from that purpose and working towards it and really discovering it every day. I mean, me, what I want this year, 10 years from now will be different. I can tell you that. I don't know what it'll be, but I can tell you that, my thoughts and goals will be different for sure. Um, but so I think there's a lot of importance in working towards something, because then if you're not, I mean, once again, you're lost and kind of on that level plane of going somewhere, but not really going
Basically,
with
I think it,
moving on
stagnant.
purpose.
If you don't have that goal towards that success, regardless of what that success is, to someone else it might be major, but to you it could be, to someone else it might be minor, but to you it's something major. And if you work towards that with that will and with that strength, then that success will come on whatever level you determine at that time, because it might not be, it might not look successful to someone else, but to the individual, it's a great step of success. It's helping them get from point A to point B and continuing on. So I think that's very important. That was a good point.
Yeah, and success is natural. Success is natural. It's the natural course of things to be moving towards, to be building up, to be growing. Success is really growth. And look at life, all of life outside of humans constantly is successful. Trees will constantly grow, flowers will constantly bloom, like animals will constantly roam and forage. It's success is really a natural state of things, and it's because nature has its own goals. People can decide our goals, but it's in the, once you do decide, then that natural success can happen. And like you said, when you're using your will, when you're using your strength, when you're using your focus, that's why these things are tied to the real principles of life itself. Like nature doesn't need to know these things. Nature just lives these things. But it's us that need to be reminded of these things so that, our life is purposeful the whole time.
Mm-hmm. I want to chime in. I've been pretty quiet. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Monty.
I'm practicing self-control.
And
and
you're doing a good job.
thank you, dear, but it sucks because I wanted to chime in like 50 times, but in order for our machine to operate and to be successful in the operating, we all have to do it together. So I am going to take a little chunk of this time right now to say a word: progressive. Continuing, accelerating, escalating, growing, developing towards success, right? So, success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. So said, as far back as I know, Earl Nightingale, and then forward to Bob Proctor, and now to all of us, right? So it's the progressive realization. And, when we realize things, they come into fruition for us, they're real for us, they've happened for us. So I just want to break it down as far as I can, like James Brown used to do on the stage when they threw the cape on him. I just want to tell you that, oh, I know you know. So I just want to tell you that when things start intensifying sometimes and they seem to be too much, we must be aware that we can't stop 3
Right.
feet 3 feet. Success is right there, Terry. Team, world. That increase is right there. You said something, Terry, that was on point. You said, let them keep growing, right? Let them continue. And I was like, look at you. Are you a conscious competent? Or would you say that you're an unconscious competent? And can anyone else on the panel, because you're coming through like you've been here and done that.
Well, I'm not necessarily been here and done that, but am here and am aware. I'm here and I'm aware. I'm constantly looking, and a lot of that I've learned from my husband because he's a watcher. He's a watcher. He will sit back and he will watch, and then he'll form his opinion, or he'll just have a look like, and that's that, you know. And I've learned to do that from him, but also from my grandmother. My mom's mom would say, if you pay attention to what's around you, their mistakes don't have to be yours. You can learn from their mistakes. And that has always stuck with me. You know, practice doesn't always have to be the best teacher. You can look and you can watch and you can learn and say, well, I saw that mistake made and I saw the outcome of that, so I'm going to sidestep that. So that's always been instilled. Now, whether or not I always did it, no, but it's something I always came back to. It's like train up a child in the way that he should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. It doesn't mean that child, as they go into that adult, is going to do everything you say, but that wisdom has been planted. And when it's time, it would be nurtured and it will continue to grow.
Right.
That brings us to the next principle, which is wisdom.
Rolling into the fourth great principle of life is wisdom. You know, and I feel like you were basically describing it perfectly. You know, it's basically your life experience, your knowledge, and your good judgment that you've learned over the years. They say you exchange age for wisdom. So I've been told is the theology of life. You exchange age for wisdom. So, you know,
I agree.
I'm surrounded by some wiser people than I am, and I'm grateful for that. You know, and I think. And
I'd like to add too. Biblically, wisdom is described as she.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Wisdom is described as a female, and I think because we have learned as females, because we carry so much, we have learned to compartmentalize. I'm gonna mess that word up. To make
you were doing great
for it, you know, to place this here and this here and this here where it goes, and we're able to carry all that. But I think that the main thing with saying yes to yourself is when to go into that compartment, when to take that out, when to hand that over to someone else, so that you can continue to your goal, you can continue to progress onward and move forward. And the ripples that you leave behind, they either fill up that compartment for yourself or they fill up those compartments for someone else. So if we continue on that step, you know, like you said, Monty, then it brings us closer and closer to our goal. But you've got to have that wisdom. You can't do anything without wisdom. If you don't have wisdom and you're driving a car, you can't put gas in that car. Because you'll walk around that car 100 times and go, where does that gas go? But it's the wisdom and the knowledge of that that allows you to do that. It's like with having a baby. If you don't get any information prior to having that baby, you know, and they send that baby home from the hospital with you, if you have not listened, if you have not gleaned from somebody else's wisdom, then you're going to go home and go, okay, now what do I do with this thing? It's just like going to a restaurant and they hand you a menu. If you haven't the wisdom to read, or to be taught to read, even to read a picture, you're going to look at that menu and not know what to do. So if you take the things that we've gotten wisdom from in the world and apply them to ourselves and apply them to our yeses, pull what we need out of those compartments for our yes to be individualized, and then we just flourish.
I vote that we give Terry an assignment and have her lead a call. because I'm just not going to be able to deal with this much longer.
I love it.
You know what I mean, you guys? It's like Jenna, it's so beautiful, right? Jenna, it's like she's
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
tree, right? Already. You're not a seed, you're not a little plant.
Acorn.
You're a tree.
Yeah.
You're like full of wisdom. You're full of experience, right? Ryan, you were telling us about all the things that go with wisdom.
Well, yeah, I
Oh,
think it's
sorry, Jenna.
important too that when you were talking, Terry, about listening, you know, and seeing what others do, the mistakes they make, I think it's also about being wise enough to listen to the counsel that comes into your life. Nothing's random, nothing's coincidence. So I agree with Monty. I think, you know, we are here to support you, but you also support us. And we look forward to your wisdom every day too. So I think that's a wonderful idea, Monty. And Terry, if you feel like you want to do that, I think you're, like you said, you're a natural born teacher. It's what you're called to do. And maybe that's part of why you came into our circle, because, you know, we need more teachers. And every person that we're sending out, you know, this community to will connect to a different one of us, all of us, hopefully. But, you know, they'll really hone in on the advice of one of us, I think. And I think that you have a really powerful message and experience and story, and you just bring so much joy too. And I think you always know when to laugh, because sometimes we get too serious, you know, we take ourselves too seriously, and you know when to laugh. And I think that that's really important, is knowing the timing. So I love it.
Yeah, to me, wisdom is taking the action, right? So we can have the knowledge, but that doesn't do anything for you, right? It's not until you apply it. I read the Bible many times, and I really love King Solomon, when God asked him, like, what do you want? I'll give you whatever you want. And this is truth, right? A lot of my posts are always about, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? People don't know what they want. Or like Bob says, people do know what they want, but they shut themselves down before they even have a chance to really even think about the question.
Right.
Okay? What do you want? And so King Solomon asked God, he said, you know what I want? I want wisdom. Because I can know all the things, and he had a lot of knowledge. You know, we have access to all the knowledge in the world. Whatever we want to know, find out, we can Google it, we can go within, like, we have everything in us. We know we have it all. But the difference between having knowledge and wisdom is how to put the knowledge to work for you.
Into place, right.
Put it into action, right? And so when I felt God asked me that, I asked for the same. I said, I want wisdom. I want to be like King Solomon. I want to know how to apply this wisdom, how to use this wisdom for the better good, for my own better good. I don't just want knowledge or just money, right? Because you could just ask for money and you spend the money and it's gone. But it's the wisdom of how, right?
There's a lesson in an experience like that too, right? I mean, if someone does that.
I mean, taking action, you get feedback. You say, okay, this is what worked, this is what didn't work, and you take the wisdom out of that. Okay, what can I learn? How can I apply this differently or better? And that's what, you know, Thomas Edison did with electricity. He failed 10,000 times. Failure is part of the process. Getting the feedback that's not towards your result is good. At least you have feedback. If you don't take any action, you don't have any feedback, you have nothing to go by or do to guide you.
And knowledge without wisdom, like you said, is basically nothing. It's like a canvas. You can have a blank canvas, and you might have the knowledge of what you want on that canvas, but if you don't have the wisdom to prepare the paints, the brush, the vision, to focus, to be in that tunnel of focusing on that canvas and then seeing it open up, then you can apply that wisdom to that canvas and that becomes a masterpiece. it becomes a masterpiece. It's hanging in the Louvre. It could be hanging in your bathroom.
Yeah.
But had that wisdom not been applied through whatever tools were needed to create that, to turn that canvas into something other than a canvas, it wouldn't be anything. Like I say, I know a lot of people that have, you know, the degrees and everything, but they don't have the street smarts and the wisdom.
That's exactly what I was gonna go there. Yes.
I was about to say.
They're talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk. They're not giving that example. There's no wisdom. You know, like scripture says, a fool in his folly will not depart. There's no wisdom there.
Yeah, folly is total
information.
My people perish for lack of wisdom. I mean, I don't care where you are spiritually, but those are just common everyday knowledges in the world.
Yeah, common sense.
If the farmer doesn't plant, you know, why is he in the fall going, where's my crop? Because there was no wisdom to plant. He's got all the seeds and everything in the barn, but if he doesn't take the wisdom to apply them to what they're supposed to do, they're just going to sit there.
Right. People downplay common sense. You know, they're like, it's not a degree, but really common sense is like the root of
it's a jumping
of the degrees, right? If you don't have that, if you
point.
don't start with some common sense, with some, you know, just some common thinking, you know, I better not put my hand in that fire, right?
Wisdom.
That's wisdom. And if you put it in there, that's wisdom and experience, right?
You got that, yeah. You got that
wisdom and the experience. That's it right there. Because we can tell our kids, you know, don't touch the stove. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. And one of the things my husband started doing when they would say hot, he started teaching them and giving them an experience of heat, because he's a coffee drinker. And the outside of that coffee cup is going to get so hot. So he would tell them to touch it. And they would feel it. He would have them touch it in the beginning, hot. He would have them touch it when he's drinking it, it's warm. And when he's done, now it's cold. So that wisdom is going to go with them. You know, when they're older, they see him coming with something and they'll go hot. They know what hot is. That wisdom has that common knowledge leading into wisdom, leading into self-experience has taught them. And I think that's what we all need. We definitely need those 5 steps. Definitely. And number 5 is, Ryan, take it away.
Number 5 is, drum roll please, responsibility. So basically being responsible for your life and your action steps, basically putting all that, and I mean, you're the one responsible for being able to take those action steps and create a plan for yourself to be able to, you know, continue to use all the other steps as well, you know, success and focus and all that. Being able to take control of your life, because no one else is responsible for it except you.
And I'm going to step into the mother, the teacher role with that word responsibility, because we see in the world today, it's kind of dormant with a lot of people. They don't take responsibility for what they do and for what they say. And that in and of itself is a negative ripple effect. That's why we teach responsibility of knowledge, because you can have a whole lot of knowledge, but if you're not using it the right way, then it can become trouble, you know. And sharing that responsibility and teaching that responsibility and wanting to be around like-minded, responsible people, like being with the way makers. You know, I'm gleaning from everything that I hear from you guys, and had you guys not been responsible in your own actions and set your own goals and I mean, 15, 20 years ago, I don't think any of you thought Waymakers might not have even been on your radar. But because it wasn't in our radar
6 months ago.
Because of your will and because of your strength and because of your goal setting and because of your wisdom, it all came to play. And you were 5 individuals, but when you kept putting those things together, I mean, the Bible tells us a 3-strand cord is stronger, but you guys have made that even stronger by making it 5, and then you're bringing others into it. And by the way, do you like my nails? Yes,
I do. I love them.
Love them.
You know,
I was like, I want my nails white.
It's made that cord even stronger. I mean, even for myself, with my fingers interlocked like this, you know, we've taken all of those those 5 steps and combine them together. You know, but I think responsibility can almost be number 1, because we're responsible for our will. We're responsible for our strength. We're responsible for making our goals. We're responsible for wanting to receive wisdom.
And for each other.
And each other, right. And if we don't do that, then, you know, this becomes this, and this is scattered. You know, atoms, nature, science tells us when those atoms start connecting together, we're formed.
Yeah.
Things are formed.
For me, accountability, responsibility, excuse me, work, friends, relationship, morals, I don't know, obligation, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
The responsibility, like I feel obligated to this team, happily, joyfully, gratefully obligated to this team, to all of our clients, right? Especially this one right here, Terry. I think
You're gonna make me
that
blue.
yeah. I think that Ryan, I like the way you present. I want you to know that, and I want to say it out loud. I like the way you present, and I like the way that you're patient. Because I'm so quick. It's nice to see that, you know, there's some polarity, you know, between you and me, where I'm, and you're like,
We can be the opposites, and then the rest of the team.
it's beautiful, right?
We're all in
Those are-
between. No, you
good.
you present it in a very calm and very beautiful way. And I love that because you allowed everyone to flow into it.
Bye, Jenna.
Bye, Jenna. Yeah, can you believe our time is
Thank
up?
you, everyone. I know. I'm so sorry I have to leave, but Terry, it was wonderful seeing you. Happy Monday. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Jenna.
Yay.
Have a
A
beautiful
great rest of your day. Great week.
And a part of wisdom too, biblical, it says, and a little child shall lead them. So Ryan, thank you for being that young spirit amongst all of this, because I definitely get something from you every single week.
Well, I'm glad I can provide that for you. Thank you.
Ah,
Oh, beautiful.
That's that
Maybe
spiritual
also here.
connection, right? That nurturing.
Have a great week, everybody. These
Bye.
hours
We'll
are
see you
going
Wednesday.
faster.
I
I'm speeding up the
know.
clock. This
I
is
know,
going
I know,
way
right?
too fast now. I'm like, okay, 10:10. Then I look back, 10:58. What do you mean? Have a great week,
happened?
everybody.
Yes.
We'll
Enjoy
see
your
you
day.
Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.